Sell this stock now. I'm your host, Steve Van Metre, and thanks for joining me today. In our show today, there's an ominous chart pattern in this major tech company that's signaling a huge reversal is coming at a time when most investors are unaware. They just also announced a huge share sale. They're doing this right at the top. You know what that means. This stock is going down, prime for a huge short opportunity. We're going to take a look at that, plus give you an update on the broad market. We're going to look at the S&P, the NASDAQ, how the machines are positioned going into next month, and are we finally going to see a bonds rally here with a debt ceiling deal done? Well, the charts are indicating nothing but upside potentially now coming for the bond market. And we've got an update on our call on gold. We nailed it right near the top, and now it's headed down to that 100-ounce target that we've been saying it would head to. Let's start the show out with none other than Nvidia. And here we can see that they are primed now to issue a bunch of shares, 10 billion shares. This was dated on May 26. Most investors are unaware with it. This is a smart move by the company. Take huge advantage of all the press on their stock. Get these shares sold at prime prices. Here you can see it's coming, and most investors now think this company stock is going but nothing but up. But as we dig out the Bible on technical analysis, what do we see? Exhaustion gaps that are made on high volume. Well, that is notable because what they are is a climax representing a rapid movement accompanied by extremely high volume. So we're going to look at that, which we expected to know. Climaxes are sudden, get this, reversals. Third, the price action on the day following the gap usually, although portrays, shows 1 day reversal. And fourth, the price action on the following 2 days generally leaves us no further doubt, mainly because we have this news on the share sales. The exhaustion gap will quickly close to the downside. And let's first look at the weekly chart of Nvidia before we get into the daily. And look, this is not normal. Stocks do not go vertical. This isn't Top Gun. I mean, we don't do this. Look at the weekly, completely oversold on the RSI. Completely oversold on the MACD. I mean, people still believe that this stock now can even further moonshot. My friends, this is what a moonshot looks like. Well, let's dig deeper. Here's that gap up, and notably, look at the volume. See this, cayenne bar here? There's your upside volume. This is called an exhaustion gap. Look at the RSI. It's oversold. MACD also oversold. So what we should expect here is at some point while it's up here that this stock is primed for a massive reversal. Of course, we're not suggesting that you short the stock or do anything like that. Obviously, run your own screens on it, make your own decisions. But if you look at the data, it looks pretty obvious, particularly now that we see Nvidia looking to unload a whole bunch of shares at the top onto retail investors who are just eager to buy this thing now. And that's what usually happens. Most people buy at the top and sell at the bottom. Now let's head over to Goldman. We're taking a look at this week's machine positioning. After being net sold in each of the 5 previous weeks, U.S. equities have been bought for 2 straight weeks, driven by long buys, suggesting a turn in sentiment. Sentiment being the optimism the stocks are going to go higher. On a trailing 2-week basis, the notional net buying between May 5th and 18th in U.S. equities is the largest since October 22, and that ranks in the 94th percentile versus the past 5 years. So what we're seeing here is optimism by investors at all levels. Buy stocks, buy stocks, buy stocks. But what about the machines? We've talked about last week that they were looking potentially to move to the downside if stocks made a material move lower. They didn't, and we noted then, and we're still going to show you today, that the machines are looking to kind of add, but the amount of buying they're doing now is incremental, because this is what these machines kind of do. They set the trend of the market, and then after everyone gets excited, people buy in, and then when momentum slows down, the machines turn to sell. Let's take a look at this report. Here we can see over the next week, flat tape, 5.1 billion to buy of global equities. It's virtually nothing, but most of it's going into the S&P. And an up tape, only 9.6 billion to buy. Down tape, 27.8 billion to sell. So still not a ton of selling here. Over the next month, though, look at this. Up tape, we only get 38 billion to buy. That's around $1 billion, a little over $1 billion a day. That's not significant. And there's a material move lower, and a down tape, 209 billion to sell. The short threshold's at 41.16, medium 4,066, long-term 41.41. Goldman noting that we are right there right now. And here you can see the flow of funds across all these different strategies. And what do we see? These are systematic strategies. All of them are essentially machine driven. And what do we know? That in a condition that they're looking to buy, there just isn't much out there for them right now. So they're not looking to be big buyers of equities here. The real risk is when this momentum slows down, those machines will look to sell to the downside. That's the risk. So if you're long the market, all this is trying to suggest to you is tighten up your stop losses, watch your downside risk, because at some point that's going to happen. Here we can see the positioning from this now from TD Securities, over 41.85 to buy, under 41.60 to sell based on their kind of recent report. Let's take a look at our screens and we'll get into the charts. You know, we've been noting that momentum is positive on the S&P, the RSI sitting at 60, so that's a nice number. You know, it's just picked up 2 consecutive daily buy signals, but you can almost omit that sell signal in there. So we've seen a string of buying. We had on March 30th a buy to open at 404, sitting at 420. We'll keep our upside target the same. We'll kind of adjust our downside target up a little bit at the 50-day moving average. But if you look at our machine positioning model, this is CTA-Timer Pro. This is the first one report listed in the description below. Currently $30 a month. It's been telling you the market's long, and it's right on spot here, looking to pick back up probably here in the next couple of days and go up to the 100% number. Again, all signs that at some point you're looking for a reversal. On our Momentum Timer Pro report, we look here at the bottom, also in the description below, we see a buy mid on the 1 month, buy mid on the 3 month, and a buy mid on the 6 month window. Again, this is an accumulation of multiple signals, momentum signals, that you look at a longer time frame. So let's take a look at the charts here, and what would we know? You've got kind of an inverse head and shoulders bottom. You have left shoulder, head, right shoulder. You've got another shoulder over here. Look, this is strong, looking to break out. Ideally, we want to see us get to 450. Your first move is going to be right up here to the last level of resistance, which is going to be right around 428, 430, right in that range. So look to see a move higher here, but not machine driven. So you know momentum's kind of it's positive, but it's kind of meandering higher. Same with the MACD, is flatlining here. Still says momentum's positive, but there's not a lot behind this at all. Now, if you're looking at our CTA-Timer Pro report, it told you to buy, believe it or not, right down here around November was the first window it would have told you to buy. Then it told you to buy here early January, and if you missed all of that, it was told you to buy late March. Look, not a whole lot of reports out there do that level of accuracy. Check this thing out. It is impressive. Again, only $30 a month. All reports, 30-day money back guarantee, so you can try it if you want, and you can look at all of the instructions how to use it for free. Click links, check it out. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ, because we've been talking about how the NASDAQ here is rallying. We nailed this call. We have a buy it open on March 30th at 315. We kind of told you, and we're still saying tighten up the stops. You know, if you know what's going on with Nvidia now, you don't want to be, overly exposed on the NASDAQ. You want to be long. If you're already long, you want to be long, but you need to control your risk to the downside. Friday closing at 348.40. We had that on our upside target at 348.23. We got that. We'll move that higher. I do think the market can go higher. Look at our CTA report. It told you to be long a long time ago. I'll show you. We've been talking about it in the show. We look at Momentum Timer Pro. It's been maxed out long now, telling you to get long there again a long time ago. Let's take a look here at QQQ, and what do we see? A breakout. What did we call it? We called this. We said, look, this is going to break out up into the supply zone. It did that. Now the next move, I'm going to say, is right here, this 353 number right in here. Maybe we get up here to 366, but I have a hunch there's going to be a little bit of a battle here. Look at the RSI's overbought at 74. Look at the MACD. It's also almost overbought as well. But a beautiful breakout here from a bottoming pattern. And again, prime for reversal. CTA-Timer Pro. Told you, buy right down here. Early January, it was telling you to buy. It gave you another signal kind of mid-late March if you missed that one. So look, these reports are phenomenal, giving you all the information you need to become a much better trader. Put that on an overlay with your existing process, and you'll find out it makes things so much easier. Let's take a look at the bond market. Under 3.8 to sell on the 10-year, 3.95 to or under 3.8 to buy in the 10-year, 3.95 to sell in the 10-year. What we're seeing here is the machines have made their move. I'll show you our signals here as a moment. We've been talking about this rectangle as a reversal. We had this long move down in bonds or move higher in yields. Now we saw a bottom. We're seeing a rectangle pattern. This is an indication of a larger reversal in play. Let's take a look at our screens because momentum here is negative. RSI is at 40, starting to move a little higher. MACD's got a negative cross. We had 11 consecutive daily sell signals on Momentum Timer Pro, so it told you to sell this thing too. We're still holding to buy it open on 320 at 106. And just due to all the risks out there, a lot of this noise is probably debt ceiling related. So there really isn't a catalyst to sell at this point. So we're still holding on that call. Upside call back to 105. What we're looking at downside now movement is fairly limited. Look at our CTA report. If you're trading bonds, it told you to get out of those positions on a short-term basis. Now it's telling you to start looking for an entry point to get back into that. And I'll show you in the case for this. Right now, we're looking at the futures market. We see, bond futures are up on the debt ceiling news, but here's that long move down. Then you get a bottom. Now you get a rectangle as a reversal. Here you're looking this go higher. You see the RSI it's not quite gotten to oversold territory. MACD is in oversold territory. Both of them now starting to show some initial signs of moving higher. Let's zoom into this rectangle pattern so you can see it is beautiful. It's bouncing off of these lows. So if you're looking for a long position, knowing the machines are maxed out to the downside, price reversal here will get those machines moving the other direction. Again, 3.8 to sell right again, or buy right underneath the current price. So look for machines to make a pretty good move following that. You've got the resistance up here on the volume profile line over the last year. I think that's the first move, and then a breakout above this 108.64 number. There's your breakout move to the upside, what we're looking for. All right, let's take a look at gold. You want to be buying now if you're the machines. Not suggesting you should do that at 1985. So we saw the machines. We told you they were maxed out. Price came down a bit. Now that they could buy a little bit, selling below 1940. We've been making the case that gold is coming down. Huge triple top. Everyone says, no, man, you're wrong. Can't sell gold. Just so we are clear on this, nobody is telling you to run and sell your physical metal. If you buy gold as an investment, maybe it's artwork to you. Maybe you just like the way it looks. It doesn't matter. Maybe you just like having it. We're not suggesting that. We're talking about trading on this show. So maybe some of you are long on the paper side or looking to short. This would be your opportunity because triple tops, kind of like that Nvidia blow off top, very, very rare. Here we see momentum negative. RSI is at 39. 9 consecutive daily sell signals. Again, we told you sell this thing and people said no. It was so obvious. Friday closing 180.92. We're going to adjust our upside target. We're moving our downside target a little low. Look at our short term, our fast algorithm on the CTAs telling you they're 100% short. They're moving down. That validates what we're seeing on the Momentum Timer Pro report over the longer term periods of 1 month is now falling down to a sell minimum. So again, everything consistent with what we've been talking about. Let's take a look at gold here. We'll first look at GLD. We see it's broken out. Look at this. You see this volume profile line. What does it tell you? Over the last 1 year, this is where all the shares were traded. I mean, people were selling this peak when everyone else was saying, no, buy. The big players selling this peak. You see price come down. We think it's got a little more ways to go here before it kind of settles up. Let's look at gold futures. Our target, 1920. That's what we're looking at. Move down to here before you see a bounce. And that's the path that we believe is of least resistance. After that move, well, what happens, sometimes you get a counter trend rally and you get a bunch of oscillating patterns in here and ultimately a move down to around 1820, 1800. I know many of you said, hey, if it gets there, a buy. Great. Well, that's what we're looking for. If that's what you want, we're going to look for that move to happen. There's what we're looking at in gold. Big move potentially continuing to the downside. Let's take a look at GDX. And what we saw there is a double top as a reversal. We talked about that, but most people don't understand it can be a continuation. So we're making the case that it's a potential continuation. Momentum here is negative. RSI at 39, not quite oversold, but getting there. MACD's got a negative cross. Momentum Timer Pro, 12 consecutive daily sell signals. Again, told you what to do. Our CTA report, look at this. This thing is almost maxing out to the short side. It's telling you the machines, if they don't trade ETFs, but if they did, we ran the same models over the ETF. So you would know how to trade them. And look at that. Friday's closing 30.41. We've been saying this thing's headed down. Next downside target 29.54. Let's take a look here at GDX. And what do we see? Again, this double top right here. Let's zoom in. Double top right here. Is it a reversal or is it coming down into this 1-year volume profile? Let's zoom out to the 2-year, same line. Is it going to, oh no, actually it's up here. The 1 year is down here. Is it going to come down here, find some resistance or some support? You see this is a level consistent of support before. You go back here into 2021. You see it kind of ran into resistance. So now the buyers are going to have a chance to come in and pick this thing up. We're going to say right here in the kind of the high $29 price range at first, maybe a little lower there, but look for price to settle here. It could spring off of that. That would be pretty impressive because there you go. Actually, we are now in oversold on the RSI. MACD's bottoming. So a lot of traders, I know you love this. There's your setup, but could the dollar be the wrecking ball? Well, it's always the case. We've been bullish on the dollar long before anyone else was. You see the RSI is now overbought at 71. MACD's got a positive cross. Momentum broke. They got it too. 29 consecutive daily buy signals. Look at our CTA report. Told you. Remember when this was minus 100, minus 100? I said, look for a reversal. People said, no, man, you got this wrong. I said, no, you don't understand this thing at extreme positioning. This is what CTA-Timer Pro does, my friend. It takes that machine positioning, and who normally looks at snapshot periods over a 3, 6, 9, 12 month, whatever their programming is for. We take that same model and we run it every day backwards over the history, and then we make some adjustments so we know whether we're at an extreme high or extreme low relative to the markets. That's what we want to see. It's telling you the dollar now is at an extreme high over this past, but remember, when it's an extreme low, talk about a fantastic buying opportunity. If you're into that next upside target, we're revising a little bit higher. Let's take a look at the chart of the dollar here and see what we've got going on. UUP, again, breaking out to the upside. Our next target, what do we say, is 28.82. So right above here is what we're looking at as far as resistance for the next set of a move. And how about the broad dollar index? I know a lot of you follow that. We're still targeting the 200-day moving average to the upside for a rejection for the moment, but look at that. Nice move higher. We called it off the lows. You had it all there with you from the reports. Again, CTA-Timer Pro, $30 a month, bargain deal when you get the first time that you can start trading. Build your trade list around stocks that are actually low, or if you like the short side, stocks that are actually high. And with that, I'm Steve Van Meter. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being fans. Bye now.